Hey, you ever feel like your brain is just mush? Like you're scrolling TikTok for the 47th time today, laughing at a raccoon stealing someone's pizza, and suddenly you realize you haven't had a single real thought in hours? Congratulations, you might have brain rot. But don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, brain rot is basically a pandemic at this point. So what is brain rot? And is it as bad as it sounds? Let's find out. Okay, first, let's clear something up. Brain rot isn't a real medical condition. Like you're not going to go to the doctor, say, "Doc, I got brain rot," and have them prescribe you anti-rot pills. Brain rot is internet slang. It describes when your brain is so overloaded with mindless content that your ability to think critically just stops. You see a meme, you laugh, you scroll. You watch a goofy cat video, you scroll. You see a dude eat an entire jar of mayo in one bite, disgusting, but you scroll. Eventually, your brain is running purely on vibes and muscle memory. No thoughts, just doom scrolling. That's brain rot. But wait, why is it even called brain rot? Well, think about what happens when something rots. It breaks down, gets mushy, loses its original form. Now apply that to your brain. Instead of engaging with deep thoughts or complex ideas, you're just reacting to bite-sized content over and over. Your brain isn't growing, it's just dissolving into a puddle of memes and viral trends. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Brain rot isn't just about being online too much. It's also about how the content we consume changes the way we think. When you spend hours consuming low-effort, repetitive media, your brain adapts. It starts craving more of the same, preferring quick dopamine hits over slow, thoughtful processing. Think of it like junk food for your mind. Sure, a little bit won't hurt, but if your entire diet is made up of ultra-processed, sugary snacks, you're gonna feel sluggish, unmotivated, and kinda empty. Same thing happens with brain rot. The more you feed your mind empty content, the harder it gets to engage with anything that requires real effort. And let's be real. Brain rot has levels. Mild brain rot, you scroll too much but can still function. Maybe you get distracted easily, but you can still focus when it matters. Medium brain rot, you struggle to watch a full YouTube video without skipping ahead, and you find reading anything longer than a tweet exhausting. Severe brain rot. Someone asks you a serious question, and your first instinct is to respond with a meme or a TikTok sound. Your brain is running on autopilot 24/7. At its worst, brain rot can make it feel impossible to focus, learn new things, or even form deep opinions. It's like your brain has been permanently stuck in low-power mode, barely processing anything beyond the next dopamine hit. So, how do we end up like this? Let's get into it. So how does brain rot happen? Well, it's kinda like eating fast food every single day. Sure, a McDouble here and there won't kill you, but if that's your entire diet, yeah, you're gonna feel like garbage. Same thing with content. When you consume nothing but quick, dopamine-packed videos, your brain gets addicted to the fast hits of entertainment. Your attention span? Gone. Your ability to focus on anything longer than 30 seconds? Non-existent. It's not just social media, though. The way digital content is designed plays a huge role. Platforms like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels literally engineer their algorithms to keep you hooked. The endless scroll? That's intentional. Auto-playing the next video? Yep, designed to keep you from stopping. The whole system is built to make sure you never put your phone down. And here's where it gets scary. Your brain actually rewires itself to crave more of this quick, low-effort content. Dopamine, the feel-good chemical in your brain, spikes when you see something entertaining. But the more you flood your brain with these instant dopamine hits, the less rewarding, slower, more complex activities feel. Think about it. Have you ever tried reading a book after spending hours scrolling social media? Feels impossible, right? Your brain is so used to constant stimulation that anything slower feels boring. Over time, this cycle gets worse. Your brain starts demanding more and more dopamine, making it harder to focus on anything that doesn't provide immediate gratification. This is why brain rot can feel so hard to break out of, because your brain is literally addicted to consuming content in the easiest way possible. And before you know it, you're sitting there, staring at your phone, wondering why you can't focus long enough to finish a simple task like responding to a text message. Want to know if you have brain rot? Let's go deeper into the signs. Short attention span. You constantly switch between apps, skip through videos, or find yourself unable to focus on anything for more than a few seconds. Memes replace real thoughts. Ever had a moment where your brain auto-replies with a meme instead of an actual sentence? Yep, classic brain rot. Doom scrolling before bed. You swear you'll sleep early, but suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you've watched 500 pointless videos. Background noise addiction. If silence makes you uncomfortable and you need a podcast, show, or music playing at all times, that's a sign. Forgetting why you opened your phone. You unlock your phone for something important, and 5 minutes later, you're watching capybara edits instead. Deep thinking feels exhausting. Reading books, writing, or even having in-depth conversations seems way harder than it used to be. Phantom phone checks. You instinctively grab your phone even when there's no notification, just in case. Constant need for stimulation. You struggle to sit alone with your thoughts and immediately reach for your phone whenever there's a lull in conversation or downtime. Can't finish tasks. You start something, but within minutes, you get distracted by your phone, completely derailing your focus. Reality feels dull. Life outside the screen seems slow, unstimulating, or even boring compared to the fast-paced, constantly updating online world. If any of this sounds way too familiar, well, you know the answer. Alright, so is brain rot dangerous? Not really, but also, kinda. It won't kill you, but it can definitely make life harder. Having brain rot means struggling to focus, which makes work, school, or even simple conversations harder. It can make you feel unmotivated, mentally drained, or just stuck in an endless cycle of consuming without thinking. The biggest issue? It rewires your brain. When you get used to quick, low-effort content, it's harder to engage with anything that requires patience or critical thinking. Your brain starts to prefer passive consumption over active participation. You become less creative since you're mostly reacting to content instead of making something new. Over time, this can affect everything: your ability to learn, your job performance, even your relationships. If you can't focus long enough to have a real conversation or sit through a full movie, that's a problem. But here's the kicker. Brain rot isn't just a personal issue, it's a cultural shift. Entertainment is getting shorter and faster. Conversations are becoming more meme-based instead of deep discussions. Critical thinking is decreasing because people consume surface-level content instead of engaging with complex ideas. We're in an era where everything is optimized for instant gratification, and brain rot is just a side effect of that. The question is, how do we fight back? Alright, good news, brain rot isn't permanent. Your brain isn't actually melting, it just needs a little reboot. Here's how to fight back and reclaim your focus. 1. Touch grass. No, really. Step away from the screen and go outside. Fresh air, sunlight, and movement actually help reset your brain. Even a short walk can snap you out of the endless scroll mindset. 2. Read something longer than a tweet. Your attention span is like a muscle. It gets stronger with use. Try reading a book, an article, or anything that takes longer than 30 seconds to digest. It might feel hard at first, but that's just proof your brain needs the workout. 3. Set screen time limits. Use app timers or grayscale mode to make your phone less appealing. Consider a no phone before bed rule. Doom scrolling until 2 a.m. is a one-way ticket to peak brain rot. Before, do something creative. Draw, write, play an instrument, cook, anything that makes you actively create instead of just consume. Creativity forces your brain to engage rather than passively absorb. 5. Actually finish things. Commit to watching an entire movie without checking your phone. Finish a book. Write something longer than a grocery list. Build back your ability to focus on one thing at a time. 6. Socialize without screens. Try having a conversation without checking your phone. Go out with friends and leave your device in your pocket. Real-world interactions help reset your brain's craving for quick, digital stimulation. 7. Mindful consumption. Not all content is brain rot. Instead of endless TikTok scrolling, try watching a documentary, listening to a podcast, or reading something that makes you think. Curate your media diet the way you'd curate a healthy food diet. 8. Detox days. Try a full day without social media or mindless entertainment. It'll feel weird at first, but by the end, you might realize how much mental space you get back. 9. Sleep without your phone. Scrolling before bed wrecks your sleep and fuels more brain rot. Charge your phone in another room and use an actual alarm clock instead of your phone's alarm. 10. Practice patience. Brain rot thrives on instant gratification. Challenge yourself to do things that require patience. Puzzles, cooking, deep conversations. The more you train your brain to wait, the stronger your focus will get. Brain rot isn't a death sentence for your mind, but it does take effort to undo. It's about balance, not quitting the internet, but using it in a way that doesn't turn your brain to mush. The goal isn't to ditch entertainment altogether, but to make sure your brain is still capable of deep thinking, creativity, and focus. So do a little test. How long can you go without checking your phone after this video? If you last more than 10 minutes, you're on the right track. If not, well, you might want to rewatch this video. So yeah, brain rot is real, but the good news? You can reverse it. You just have to take small steps to rewire your brain and start engaging with the world again. If you made it this far, congrats! Your attention span might not be as fried as you thought. But don't stop here. Keep training your brain to focus, think deeply, and actually process information. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, there's more where that came from. So, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let me know in the comments, what's the worst case of brain rot you've ever seen? Or better yet, admit it. How bad is your brain rot? Alright, now close this app, go outside, touch some grass, and give your brain the break it deserves. I'll see you in the next one.